to trust me now.
Hello and welcome to Catherine's Crossings. Once again this year, we will be hearing those familiar bells ringing and recognizing those traditional red kettles from the volunteers of the Salvation Army. The Salvation Army began their operations in the Twin Cities in 1886, just 6 years after coming to America. The organization was founded in London, England by William and Catherine Booth in 1865. Now it operates nearly 7,600 centers in more than 120 countries across the United States. Here to talk more about this amazing nonprofit organization is our Salvation Army Twin Cities Commander, Major Jeff Strickler. Hi, Major Strickler. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Catherine.
Well, I've really been looking forward in having you here today because there's much to be learned and said about the Salvation Army.
Yes.
There's some great history behind the Salvation Army's name. Can you explain to us a little bit more about the story behind the name?
Sure, there really is. Salvation Army, as you mentioned, was started by William Booth in 1865. And Booth grew up in a poor family. His father passed away at the age of 13, and so he went to work to support his family and to help them. He ultimately worked with the Christian Mission as kind of a circuit rider with that church. But he always felt a strong call to go and help the poor who were living in the slums in the East End of London. And so in 1865, he opened a mission there, and that evolved into the Salvation Army with a name change in 1878. And Booth felt that as he looked in the streets of London, that the cab horses there had life much better than many people, and that someone always came along and picked them up when they were down, and they always had food and shelter and meaningful work, and he thought people should be entitled to at least that much. So that was a driving force of the Salvation Army.
Well, that's a wonderful story to know. Now, I have to admit that I did not know that the Twin Cities Salvation Army serves about 234,000 people a year, and this includes 2,000 hot meals being served daily and 1,000 people being sheltered. Besides all this, what other services is the Salvation Army providing?
Sure. Well, in addition to those hot meals, we have food shelves to provide food for families. In addition to the shelter, we have transitional housing. We have permanent supportive housing. We provide specific types of housing, too, for veterans, for seniors, for youth, and just a magnitude of housing type of programs. In addition, we provide counseling. It might be spiritual counseling. It could be budget counseling, energy management counseling, a variety of things there. We have child care services, adult daycare service, senior housing. We also do drug and alcohol rehabilitation. So we have a whole variety, a plethora of services that we provide here in the Twin Cities Metro.
Wow, again, it's something I did not even realize. You also have nearly 28,000 local volunteers who are helping with these services that you're providing. What are some of the Salvation Army's important services here in the Twin Cities area?
We feel that our emergency social services are a very important piece because they come alongside of people, help them during a time of crisis to get through that crisis and to kind of stabilize their lives. That's a big piece. We also have our housing programs, we have our hunger abatement programs, and we do a lot with youth development as well, character building in youth, and in addition, out-of-school time programs, day camp programs, etc.
Okay, well, let's take a moment to hear about an after-school program that you have that the Salvation Army is actually involved in.
Right.
Some of the children here do face quite a bit of adversity.
We have the gangs.
We've experienced shootings in front of our door, prostitution across the street. I mean, just so many things. But still, we are able to remain positive. It's with our after-school programs, we have an opportunity to take kids of the East Side community and provide enrichment activities as well as academic support. And mostly, we provide strong mentorship.
You know where your child is. You know what they're doing. You know what's going on, and you know that it's productive.
We decided a few years ago that we didn't want kids walking home at nighttime. Every day we load up all the kids that come to our program. We drive them to our program, and in the evening we drive each and every one of them home.
If the Salvation Army was not here, like I said, this neighborhood would be, they would be hurting. They really would be.
I always tell the kids, my payment is later in life when I see them going to college, working a job, starting a family, being a positive outlet to society.
I've got 85 kids that'll be in our building tonight that I know will not be on the streets this afternoon.
This is very heartwarming and certainly a program that is definitely well needed. Now, the Twin Cities Salvation Army also uses the thrift store profits to help with about 150 men in crises over at the Rehabilitation Center in Minneapolis. How is your organization addressing the biggest challenges facing low-income people as well as people that are in crises?
I think one of the big things, again, is really those emergency social services that I mentioned, paying people's rent, providing them with food, helping them with transportation, maybe some needed medications, things like that. It's helping them often get through a crisis that is really straining their budget, their ability to afford to pay for their utilities, a variety of different things. And so we're able to help them hopefully be able to keep their housing and be able to keep their car, their vehicle, or those kind of things that help them to get through life and to be a little more stable and self-sustaining. We also have a program we're starting this year called Pathway to Hope, which will be a program to help people get off of welfare. It'll be a program that will help them become hopefully more stable and self-sufficient.
I get approached by various charitable organizations asking for donations, and then I find out that only 12% is actually going back into the cause. What is the best way to know where your donation dollar is being spent? What do you say about that?
Well, one of the blessings for us is that our last certified independent audit showed that 83 cents out of every dollar, or 83%, goes to helping the people who are in need.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's incredible. That's important to know.
It is, and our administrative expenses and fundraising expenses tend to be low. Now, one of the things that we really encourage people to do is come and visit us. Come and see for yourself the programs that we do and volunteer with us. And we think that's the best way where people can really see what you're doing.
Another great statistic is about 30 million people were served by the Salvation Army nationally back in 2012. What and should a community do to help solve some of these challenges that we're facing today?
Well, one of the big things that we see is it's important for the different organizations and agencies and groups that work to help and meet needs that they come together and that they communicate, they collaborate, and they coordinate services so that we don't duplicate services, so that we can really focus on filling the gaps in services, things like that. So it really takes everybody coming together to make a big difference. And also for people on the sidelines, we would encourage them to really get involved and to make a difference. One of the communities that we served in with the Salvation Army, the mayor of that town said that we all deserve the community we live in. And I think there's a lot to that. When you think about what do you invest in your community and what are you reaping from those investments?
Absolutely. Well, I can't thank you again. I appreciate you being here to share with everyone what the Salvation Army is really doing. And with Christmas coming up, people know now how much is really going back to the cause. The Salvation Army is an international movement. While their message is based on the Bible, their ministry is motivated by God. Their mission is to feed, clothe, comfort, and to care and rebuild broken homes and broken lives. To find out more information on how you can volunteer or donate, please go visit them at their website, salvationarmynorth.org, or you can also give them a call at the number you see on the screen. The Salvation Army certainly has shown us that with faith, hope, and love, we can accomplish anything in this world.